Small, lightweight, and concealable are attributes that make for an ideal carry gun. There's no shortage of affordable handguns on the market, but there's a lot to consider when looking for the most reliable and best concealed carry gun that you might need to rely on for self-defense. You don't want a handgun you can't trust to go bang every time you pull the trigger, or one that will wear out after only a few trips to the range. And while smaller guns chambered for rounds like the .380 ACP are popular for concealed carry, serious defensive handguns start with a +P capable .38 special revolver or a 9mm semi-automatic. Here's a look at 5 cheap handguns that you can trust, and they all cost right around $500 or less. None will win a beauty contest or ever be listed on the list of best handguns ever made, but all 5 are dependable and fully capable of saving your life. Ruger Security 9. The Ruger Security 6 was Ruger's first entry into the double-action duty market of revolvers, and it became a favorite of the company's lineup, with about 1.5 million produced. The 6, its Security 6, is a clear reference to the capacity of the classic revolver. The 9 in Ruger Security 9 isn't a reference to capacity, but to the caliber. This 9mm semi-auto handgun is a far cry from the classic revolver, but they share a few traits. Both were built with affordability and duty use in mind. Ruger has had several lines of semi-auto handguns, and the Security 9 is their latest. It's a fairly simple handgun that shaves off some not-so-necessary features to provide a robust, reliable, and accurate firearm. You won't get interchangeable backstraps or night sights with a gun this cheap. What you do get is a perfectly competent firearm well-suited for concealed carry or hammer defense. Heck, it would be at home in the holster of a security guard, although most police would likely go the Glock or SIG route. The budget price point of the Security 9 makes it quite attractive, and the Ruger guarantee of quality helps secure its place as a budget gun, and not a cheap gun. The Security 9 replaces the SR series of handguns with something a little more modern and a lot sleeker. The Security 9 comes in 2 sizes, the full and compact. While guns are plenty similar, I'm reviewing the Security 9 full size today. While it's called a full size, it is smaller than guns like the P320 and Glock 17, and is more Glock 19 size with a 4-inch barrel and 15-round capacity. Smith & Wesson M&P BodyGuard 38. Once you put in quality time with a revolver, you'll quickly find out how easy it is to be consistent with the trigger. You tend not to flinch. I think it's because, as you focus on making that trigger press as smooth as possible, you're not thinking about the discharge. At least this has been my experience. With semi-auto pistols, a short travel is going to result in a discharge. And as you time the trigger brake, you anticipate the recoil. Somehow this lessens with revolvers, especially if you don't cock the hammer and fire single action. The BodyGuard 38 features a one-piece, aluminum alloy upper frame. This makes it very lightweight. Of course, this can be scary in a little revolver, but even with 38 +P loads it's not bad. A 1.875-inch stainless steel barrel spins up the slug. The gun contains 5 in total in the cylinder. In fact, if there is one negative about a revolver for concealed carry, it's capacity. We look at concealed carry from a defensive standpoint, but more often discuss it from an offensive position, and typically train that way. Sure, 25 to 50-yard shots are great, but trying to sell that for personal defense could be tough. A gun like the BodyGuard 38 excels at 10 yards and closer. Also, speed loaders provide extra ammo if needed. Other features include a PVD-coated stainless steel cylinder and ambidextrous cylinder release that is easy to reach and operate. It is made of polymer and seems a bit inadequate, but time will tell. Would I carry a revolver? Yes, as a backup to a larger primary, or even as a primary when my choice of dress doesn't allow for a larger defensive tool. Of course, many shooters prefer a snub-nosed revolver, as it is easy to carry every day. A snub in the pocket is much better than any full size left at home. Springfield Armory XD3 Sub-Compact. While single-stack 9mm pistols seem to be all the rage in modern concealed carry, subcompact pistols that hold a bit more ammunition shouldn't be dismissed by anyone interested in personal protection. The 9mm XD Sub-Compact is a small striker-fired pistol with a polymer frame and forged steel slide. Like many polymer-framed pistols, the gun is relatively light for what it is. At 23 ounces with an empty magazine, the gun offers considerable firepower in a package that should be easy for most folks to conceal. It is small, only 6.25 in overall length, and with a grip that is 1.2 wide. The real key dimension for me is the grip length, which is just barely long enough. I can get my whole hand on it. It is slightly longer than the sub-compact Glock pistols that always leave my pinky hanging. In my opinion, the additional length is not any harder to conceal in a quality holster. Something that sets the XD apart from most other striker-fired pistols is the grip safety. This is similar to the grip safety found on other guns like the 1911. When you grip the gun, the safety disconnects and allows you to pull the trigger. Without the grip safety depressed, you cannot pull the trigger. Smith & Wesson M&P 9 Shield EZ. The M&P 9 Shield EZ brings the positive features of its predecessor into a 9mm internal hammer-fired pistol that very nearly mirrors the dimensions of the 380 model. The M&P 9 Shield EZ is a pistol in a size and configuration that makes it rather easy to carry concealed. While it is larger than its original Shield namesake, it is still rather compact. It is slightly smaller and thinner than a Glock 19. But it's still enough gun to be easy to grip and control while firing. You might consider the 9 Shield EZ for the fact that it is deliberately made to be easy to rack the slide, as the spring is far softer than is found on most pistols. It is therefore well suited to people who may have trouble manipulating the slide of other pistols. You might also consider the 9 Shield EZ for the 8-round magazines that are extremely easy to load. Pull tabs on either side of the single-stack magazine allow virtually anyone to easily load the magazine to full capacity. Or you might consider it for the fact that it's one of the few modern poly pistols that has a grip safety, a feature that some find very appealing and comforting. Mossberg MC2SC. Mossberg has been edging into the handgun category recently, and the new MC2SC brings them right into the heat of the micro-compact 9mm pistol market. In 2019, Mossberg introduced their first pistol in 100 years, the MC1SC. But in today's age of handguns, you got to update to stay relevant. Which brings us to the new MC2SC. SC for Sub-Compact, which is smaller than its C predecessor. Its small footprint places it in what today we're calling a micro-compact pistol while bringing the house when it comes to firepower and also offering the ability to install a red dot sight on the slide. How small? It has a 3.4-inch barrel with cut-broached rifling, and the overall length is 6.25 inches. It's 4.3 inches tall without a red dot, and width is 1.1 inches. Capacity is 11+1 with the flush base plate magazine and 14+1 with the extended mag. That 14-round magazine makes the Mossberg best in class in terms of capacity for standard equipment magazines. The MC2SC brings more to the party than just size and capacity. The stainless steel barrel has a DLC, diamond-like carbon, finish, as does the 416 stainless steel slide. DLC coatings are incredibly hard, hence the diamond-like descriptor, with excellent lubricity. This high-end treatment means the Mossberg is going to hold up well to the rigors of daily carry and reliably firing lots of rounds. Any new pistol in the micro 9mm category starts with an uphill battle to distinguish itself from competitors. The field is so deep that without exceptional uniqueness or a strong aggregate of features, a pistol is sure to flop before production ever begins. However, the Mossberg MC2SC does distinguish itself, in my opinion. I don't find it flashy or fancy. The damned if it doesn't do everything well. You'll probably be able to find them for $100 less than MSRP, and that means it will be more than $100 cheaper than relative competitors in its class. For the price, it's a great pistol,